Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, June 24th, 2024. We were basically closed last week. I think we had a pre-market on Monday and Tuesday. Remember, the market was closed Wednesday, and then we had the contract rollover finish there on Friday. So I'm not going to do a whole review of every day, but I do want to just point out some notable things that happened here last week that I can't just go ahead and ignore and not point out. First one is the high of last week, my friends, was our extension level to the tick. I mean, quite literally right to the tick. So if you guys remember last week, as we were coming onto this new contract, we had our extension up to 55.88. That was our expected resistance, and that is now our new all-time high on the S&P. So pretty awesome stuff there. If you did go ahead and fade that level, or maybe get in on that second failed attempt to come back up and test in, which is one of those textbook price action structures that I talk about, you actually would have grabbed this whole sell-off from the all-time high, right? Now, on the way back down, I also gave you two levels last week before we finished our broadcast. One of them was right here, I should say, this pocket from 55.17 and 55.19. Both areas discrete, right? Very discrete, being 17 off that swing and 19 off that swing. So the high of last week was our expected resistance level nearly to the tick. I'm sorry, not even nearly. It was to the tick. And when price sold off going into, I think this was Friday of last week, the low of Friday was 55.19 to the tick. So we basically outlined for you on Tuesday of last week, before the market had broken out up there, we outlined for you the low of the week there at 19 and the high of the week at 55.88 to the tick, right? So I just want to point out that this stuff just blows me away, right? So if you were here last week as we were rolling over onto that new contract, you had 55.88, which was the high last week. You had 55.19, which was the low of last week, right, or the low of Friday. And as you can see on contract rollover day, just a bunch of tight chop, right? And then on Wednesday, when the market was closed for Juneteenth, also very, very tight and choppy. The market was basically closed, right? And that brings us here into Monday morning, where we're still playing around inside of the chop from Friday when the contract settled, right? So I just blows me away how we nail these levels. Again, down to the tick, if not down to a couple ticks of error, and just blows me away. So we can see some of the detail here if we were to jump back to last week. There's the bounce off our 19 to the tick, right? And you even had an opportunity on Friday to go ahead and fade the back end of VWAP with divergence, and you could have captured that whole sell-off right down to 19 there, hopefully taking profit just in front of it. So pretty decent opportunity there on Friday out of the open. If we go back to Thursday, I believe Thursday also had a great opportunity here. The market bounced out of the open here, a tick or two in front of 50% of the day before, and then just could not hold above VWAP there. And that second swing there with that big divergence holding below VWAP there was another great short opportunity. Again, coming off of the failure off our expected resistance at 55.88 up there, right? So that is the all-time high now. We nailed it to the tick in anticipation as price was pushing up into that area. As it was failing, you can see the bulls could not hold price above Hopeful in the overnight session. And then here we are coming into Thursday, and they could not hold above VWAP there again. Another opportunity to fade the market. What do you know? They held and chopped back and forth between the previous daily low and 50% of the previous day there. This was, I believe, the chop from the closed session there, right? The Juneteenth holiday. But nonetheless, back and forth nearly to the tick inside of there. And then when they finally bounced out, notice they held the pullback to the previous daily close, the pullback to 50% of the previous day, and then tried to get back through VWAP. And then you had a second opportunity with divergence to go ahead and fade the test of VWAP again. This is again on Thursday of last week, and then a ride right down the fast moving average all the way down to the lows of the day. So you had great opportunities Thursday. Again, Wednesday the market was closed, and I believe we were here at the beginning of last week. So there were great opportunities last week to go ahead and trade, even without any of our new levels, right? Because we had to erase all the old support and resistance levels, all the old scaffolding levels, and start fresh. And despite that, still our moving averages gave you razor sharp entries, gave you great opportunities to get in on these rotations. And that's how the cookie crumbled last week coming into this week. And here we are coming into the new contract now, 100%. And we are, again, like I said, chopping inside of Friday's chop range. So let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames and see what they have to say for this week and for this new contract. And hopefully we'll be just as accurate as we have been on the last couple contracts for the last year and a half, right? Because we're now at, this is essentially the second year of this broadcast I've been doing, and I think we've been pretty successful with nailing a lot of these major rotations. In fact, the whole way up, as price was pushing, and I probably have to even zoom out to say like a daily here, but as price has been pushing over the last couple months, I don't know how many times we came right to one of our extensions up in the middle of nowhere, up where price had never traded before. We came right to it, to the tick, and got some major rotation off of it. And it just kept happening. And unfortunately, we're on a new contract now, so I don't have those old extension levels all on there, but we came right into them and failed I don't know how many times over the last couple months on this old contract, right? So it just blows me away. Let's see how successful we can be on this new contract now, and let's see what it has to say for today, right?